Once upon a time there were twin brothers who lived in a little cottage with their widowed mother. One day, as they were chopping wood, their mother called to them. She explained that as they were so poor, the time had come for them to leave home to make their own way in the world, for there was no future for them at home. She gave them each a loaf of bread to start them on their way, and also a special knife which, once the time came for them to go their separate ways, they should stick into the trunk of a tree. As long as they remained safe and well, the knife would retain its shiny hue. But if one of them fell into danger, the knife would turn to rust. So off they ventured as their mother tearfully waved them goodbye. The brothers delayed the moment for their parting as long as possible, for this was the first time they would ever be apart. They entered the dark wood where they knew the paths diverged. This was the place to go their separate ways. As instructed by their mother, they placed the knife in the tree, embraced, and telling each other to take care, they parted company to seek their fortunes. Some time later, the first brother, having walked some miles, decided to have a rest and sample his mother's loaf of bread. No sooner had he taken a bite when a strange woman appeared from behind a tree. She asked him for some bread, for she hadn't eaten for many days. He kindly gave her half his loaf, which she began to devour eagerly. Grateful for his generosity, she confided that beyond the hill was an enchanted village, where everyone had been turned to stone. There he would find a crock of gold and a pot of water. If he ignored the gold, but used the water to anoint the villagers, he'd break the spell and gain great riches. Wishing him well, she scuttled back into the trees. Puzzled, the first brother decided to investigate. Sure enough, he came across the strangest sight he'd ever seen. There indeed was a village full of motionless people. The first brother wandered about the frozen figures, amazed by what he saw. And then something caught his eye. As the woman had predicted, there indeed was the crock of gold. He reached for it, and then the water. He hesitated, remembering the woman's words. But the glittering gold was too tantalizing for him to refuse. But within seconds, he too had turned to stone. In his lust for the gold, he'd ignored the woman's instructions. Meanwhile, on the far side of the woods, the second brother decided it was time he had a rest and a bite to eat. As with his brother before him, the strange woman appeared and beseeched him to spare a morsel of bread, for she was very hungry and hadn't eaten for days. He generously offered her the whole loaf, saying her need was greater than his. The woman thanked him profusely and proceeded to recount the same tale of the enchanted village, where he would find a crock of gold and a pot of water. If he ignored the gold but took the water and anointed the petrified villagers to break the spell, great wealth would be his. She wished him well and scurried away. Oh well, thought the second brother, and followed the woman's directions to the enchanted village. As he walked along, a feeling of unease came upon him. He feared perhaps his brother was in danger. He continued to be troubled by these thoughts until he found the path had led him back the way he'd come. And there in the tree was the knife. As he approached, he saw it had turned to rust. Fearful for his brother's safety, he quickened his pace. And soon he arrived at the enchanted village. He was bewildered by the sight before him. He wandered about, astounded to find that even as he touched them, the villagers remained motionless. It was like a street full of statues. But what was this? His brother also turned to stone. But how to save him? Then he saw the crock of gold. He was dazzled by the gold coins. Should he take them? What had the woman said? Anoint the villagers with the water and you will break the spell. All at once the village came to life, as though nothing had happened. The two brothers found each other and embraced. Indeed, as the woman predicted, great wealth was theirs. As a reward, they were given the crock of gold, which they took home to their mother, and were never sent away to seek their fortunes again.